This week's topic is kind of a difficult one for me, and we say that every week, but this week was particularly difficult for me, and it was a suggestion that we've had in some form or another the entire time. I think it's something we all want to talk about, but at the same time, for me, it's probably the hardest thing to talk about, and I think it's because I'm still fairly newly diagnosed. It's either our highest high or our lowest low, and because my highest highs and my lowest lows had such huge consequences in my life, it was really, it's difficult to talk about. So my lowest low, that's the one I'll talk about. And it was not the one that I got diagnosed, but the one that I got diagnosed with was pretty similar. But the one that was my lowest low happened when I when I first separated from my ex, and I left him. He wasn't nice. He was quite abusive, so I left. So it wasn't, but still, even if you leave that kind of situation, it's still painful. And I was living on my own and living in a country that I didn't speak the language, and it just became overwhelming, and all of these external factors hit when I was hitting a depression at the same time, so I became extremely depressed. And I remember walking home from work one day and a bus was passing me, and I stood in front of it. Like, I walked out in front of the bus and it swerved and missed me, and I was so sad that it missed me. And then I went home and I got into bed, and I didn't get out of bed for a long time. In fact, so long that I stopped paying any bills, and social services came and knocked on my door and said that, well, you're about to get evicted because you haven't paid rent in these many months, and we need to help you, obviously. But by them helping me, what we did, I had the money in my account to pay rent, so I paid it all at one time, and then they were fine, and then I didn't get evicted, and they just left. And that actually makes me kind of angry. Like, I'm still pretty angry about it, because I was there in my pajamas, and it's obvious I hadn't taken a bath and I hadn't been eating, and when I opened the door, this huge pile of mail was just, and when I say huge, I mean like up to my calves, huge pile of mail was laying in the floor, and they just kind of stepped over it and said, well, as long as you can pay your rent, we'll leave you alone now. And to me, that should have been the point where I got diagnosed. Like, I was stepping in front of buses and not paying my rent and not eating and not bathing and not... I wish someone had seen me then. I wish someone would have said something is really not okay then. So I'm kind of angry because I feel like I could have been caught earlier, and I could have started to learn to manage this earlier. My lowest low scares me though, because I know how bad it can get and how low I can get, and I know I can always go there again, and that's what keeps me on my meds. Meds aren't always fun to take, and I miss being social at parties and drinking, and I miss doing, you know, all-nighters when I have a deadline, but I can't do those things anymore because I have to be faithful to this regimen that's keeping me somewhat stable and somewhat healthy, and because it's working, and because I know that, you know, buses are my siren when I'm depressed and I tend to stand in front of them. And how scary that is to know you can get that low. I keep on my medicine, and I keep doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So that's it. That's my scary low story. And my high story has pretty dire consequences as well. I think, at least in my case, it's a misnomer that the manic episodes are so happy. They're not necessarily happy. My manic episode was more insanity that had bad consequences, but I'll save that one for another day. Yep, so I'm sorry this is almost Tuesday. I'm kind of playing with the time difference in my favor right now because I'm living about 10 hours ahead of the East Coast and about 7 hours ahead of the, no, I said it backwards, about 7 hours ahead of the East Coast and about 10 hours ahead of the West Coast. So I'm sorry if this is a little bit late, and have a happy Monday and a good week.